What if? I like this game. What if? My life is really dictated on the word what if. I've been in the truthful right zone a lot, but let's play what if, because I've been told I'm a conspiracy theory nut. If I were a bank and I wanted to collect money, what would be the best way to influence those that gave me the money? I got an idea. How about I do it under the guise of helping the largest organization for real estate professionals? And I will give them lots of information, especially the biggest fact that it's your fiduciary responsibility. Sound crazy? If you take the SFR test, tell me I'm not crazy. I've seen the SFR test. It's insane. Okay? That's reality. Now, is that me being right, or is that the truth? Because if you don't fundamentally believe any of this crap, it ain't gonna matter. Okay? I don't need to be right for the sake of being right. I got people here that are legit Kool-Aid drinking, whatever Lee says is the way it is. He's been right for too long. I want the truth. And I'm tired and sick of, well, this is just how it is. So what happens at NAR? It bleeds down to the Department of Real Estate. The Department of Real Estate start writing their little memos. That bleeds down to your board, and you're sitting in front of your broker who's now telling you, you know, it's your fiduciary responsibility to deal with the bank. Really? Don't I need a physical contract to make that happen? Doesn't it mean that there's an imparted contract between the two people involved for that much open disclosure? So why is it happening? The bank does two things. They lend money and they collect money. They're a glorified shark, okay? So, what is a short sale at the end of the day? It's an unloan. That's exactly what it is. I'm gonna teach it to you all a new way. This is brand new just for you. Came up with this a couple of days ago. A short sale is an unloan. That's what it is. So think of it like a loan. It's a stated unloan process. There are no VODs, no VOEs, no VOMs. This isn't like, okay, I'm going to talk in loan terms from now on so people understand what I'm talking about. We're unloaning our client. So do I want to make them look really good? Or do I want to make them look really bad when I state what they look like? Well, if I was doing a loan, I'd make them look really good, wouldn't I? And I'm sure nobody in this room did a stated loan where they got, you know, $100 more of what they needed debt to income ratio. See, I like the smiles on people when they look at me and I do this section. They do the, no, Lee, that would never happen. All right, I'll tell you what I know. Because I've done audit on HELOC files on stated income loans. Consistently, 90% of them were within $1,000 to $1,000 of what they needed to make to get that loan. That is some amazing effing math. I gotta be honest. That is, because they're supposed to fill it out themselves, right? Just like the financial package on an unloan, right? They're supposed to fill it out themselves. So I'm sure they weren't coached at all on exactly what they needed to make for a debt to income ratio, that if you told that to a standard homeowner, they'd look at you and twist their head and go, what's a debt to income ratio? Everybody following this?
Yep.
These are the things that need to be discussed. Because if we don't, we're not going to close files. Because escalations no longer work. I'll get to that when the time comes. That's my fault as well. There are a lot of things that are my fault in this market. It's time for me to fix most of them. And the first thing is to fundamentally understand this. If your loan package from the beginning isn't an unloan package, you will not close your short sale. Simple as that, okay? So, we're unloaning our client, the homeowner, who wants a loan mod. Now, let's inject the federal government, shall we? For some delusional fantasy that they're under, they think that it's a great idea right now, i.e. Freddie and Fannie, that they foreclose. Only 2 postponements on a Freddie or Fannie deal. We all know the stories and what the hell they're doing in that whole thing. Yes, they've reactivated the whole thing. Are they really doing it? Yes, no, who knows? Who really cares? Why are you taking a file so late to begin with? But, all right, here's what happened. The federal government took over Freddie and Fannie. We all know that, right? Everybody knows that. That's the truth. It is a federally run facility now. So the federal government felt that they needed to help force the bottom in fear of rising interest rates, right? Everybody following that? So what did they tell Wells, Chase, and BofA? You must foreclose. You only get 2 postponements on our deals. We really want you to foreclose. And this made the REO investors very excited and very happy, didn't it? Their little tails started to wag. They started to run around in circles, you know, piddling on themselves. They were so excited. REOs are coming. REOs are coming. REOs are coming next month. Next month, next month, next month. She's done REOs. See, right? Next month, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to happen again next month.
That's right.
We're back to the it's going to happen again next month. I'm going to show you exactly what happens because I talked to Freddie and Fannie people just a few months ago. I'm happy to share that information with you. What a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a myth. It's the unicorn of this industry. So why? Why? Well, the federal government really felt that they were trying to force a bottom. They were afraid of climbing interest rates. They really thought they were doing something that was correct to help stabilize the market. I don't have much of a problem with it. The problem is the little shark in this process, the bank, doesn't like to foreclose. So does everybody remember what they did 3 months ago out of the blue? They postponed every foreclosure sale in the United States. One bank did it, then the next bank did it. They let one do it first. They put their foot in the water first. And then the second bank did it after the first one didn't get its toes bit off, and then the third one did it. Now, follow me, because there's new people here. I'm going to give you some really crazy history of REOs and short sales. Let's just say that randomly out of the blue there was a problem with collateral packages. And that's why they actually did it. Then you know what? There's no conspiracy theory at all that I'm about to tell you. But being somebody who is the former head loss mitigator of IndyMac Bank, somebody who's done audits on file, I remember vividly requesting 300 files for audit and only getting about 200 of them back with a note saying, we don't know where the rest of the files are. So if I know that 1/3 of my files out of a 50,000 unit HELOC group were missing, and that was 3.5, 4 years ago, what are the odds of that event coinciding exactly with the federal government saying you must foreclose? Want to know what that is on percentages? You hit the lottery twice. I did the math. You will hit the lottery twice to hit those points exactly like that. It is the equivalent of basically 1968 launching a rocket and hitting the dark side of the moon exactly the right time, the first time, exactly at that one spot. The math is astra-freaking-nomical to pull that off. 4 years ago, to actually coincide with an event based on deficiency of collateral packages, comes exactly to a head at exactly the same point the federal government says, we really need you to foreclose. And what happened? The day after the elections, we start foreclosing again. They turned everything back on. Why? So Republicans are back in power. Now there's a neutral balance in the power. Now they can fight amongst themselves, and Wells, Chase, and BofA can go back to the business of what they do best, sucking every dollar out of every file. I want to repeat a little history about our friends at the bank, okay, that everybody's forgotten. We as an American people only know history 1 month back and worry about 1 month forward. So I'm going to rewind to January of last year because everybody forgets this, and I want it on the videotape. In January, Wells, Chase, and BofA cut profits. They made money in a down market. And they're not producing anything. They're not doing loans, okay? So they're making their money somewhere. So people tell me short sales don't work. No, they work very well, okay? Don't fool yourself. How well do they work? When Wells, Chase, and BofA tried to pay out bonuses to their top executives, the federal government, under the TARP program, stepped in and said, we can't have you do that. It's offensive to the American people. We've lent you a lot of money. At which point, Wells, Chase, and BofA responded by paying back the TARP money plus interest. So the question on your mind is, how much money does Wells, Chase, and BofA have? That's a good question. Now, I can only roughly give you that answer, but I did get somebody to give me this answer. And it was an economist, and he was a very good guy. I said, at one point I thought somebody was trying to buy out Wells. There was some weird stuff happening with Wells, and I was watching the market. And I was talking to an economist, and I said, somebody's trying to buy out Wells. And he's like, dude, there's no way anybody could buy out Wells. Ever. It couldn't happen. If they had a run on every single person who had money in that bank, they'd still have money left over. I said, well, how much money do the big three actually have? I mean, could they theoretically be put out of business? These are his exact words. Wells, Chase, and BofA could pay off the national debt and still remain in business. That's a staggering amount of money. And for a guy like me who doesn't really concern myself with a lot of money, having worked in a bank for 20 plus years, that staggers my imagination based on money. That's a That's a tangible amount of money. So why are they doing what they do? Why would they make the perception of we'd rather just foreclose? Why would they threaten the courthouse? And where the hell are the REOs? Those are the really bigger questions. And why the hell is the REO a tennis ball? That should be the bigger question on that slide. All right. From first missed payment to actual foreclosure in the United States is about 1 year at this moment. It's gone down. It used to be about 18 months, so the federal push has gotten it down by about 6 months. Yay. So if you get somebody day one, first missed payment, you've got about a year to work your file, bottom line. All right. So what's going on with the actual REOs and why nobody actually sees them on the market? I had an opportunity to go to an event and see representatives from Freddie and Fannie, and as those bright-eyed, bushy-tail REO investors stared at them with that glazed-over look, with saliva dripping off their fangs, ready to jump on both of the people there to get listings out of them, they explained exactly where they're going, and that's why I have a part chart. So the first 30% is what we call the market hold, okay? So anything that goes to sale, 30% are naturally going into a market hold. Because of collateralization and securitized pools and investors and et cetera, you can't uncollateralize the securitized pool. Anybody understand that? That was really technical talk. If there's a group of people who lend money out to other people, if they decollateralize that portfolio, i.e. sell the actual property, if they could figure out how to disperse the money, because it's not one people, it's an actual investment group, right, with investors behind it. It's a pool on a pool on a pool. Everybody follow that? Now here's why I'm bringing it up. Let's say you could sell off properties in bundles for that group. Wouldn't that then create a Ponzi-like setting because you have no collateralization of money being lent to money being lent to money? Because in the United States, the last time I checked, you cannot take money to lend money to lend money. It all has to be collateralized to something. The friends helping friends kind of concept. You can't do that. It's illegal the last time I checked. And they use words like Ponzi. Okay, I'm not saying that anybody is actually involved in those things, nor would I actually allege it. I just know for a fact that money can't be lent to money. You can't do the friends helping friends routine. It's got to be collateralized to a physical, tangible item. That's why there's a market hold. At the end of the day, that's the reason there's a market hold. The next 30%, retail REOs. All right, so 30% plus or minus are going to see the actual retail market. So that's not bad. I mean, that's something to bank on, right? You should, you know, if 30%, yeah, right, exactly. The other 30%, this is my personal favorite, thanks to the current administration. Yay, they're holding them for the cities and federal programs in Section 8. Yay. You know why? People do this all the time. We're living in a socialist society. Nah, that's BS. All right, I've been to Detroit, I've been to Cleveland, I've seen New Orleans. Some of the crap just needs to be knocked down and demolished and turned into a park at this point, okay? We have property with zero value. Nobody's going to physically buy those properties. So what they have to be done is re-engineered and reorganized or rezoned or something. It's logical. The Section 8 thing I'm a little sketchy about, and in my fantasy land of the Section 8 program, that next door to somebody like Angelo Mazzillo, his neighbor is foreclosed upon, and that house becomes a Section 8 housing, and that Angelo has actually got somebody who's bought a house and living in it based on a Section 8 housing program. I know it's a big fantasy that I live in, but it would be such a wonderful, wonderful thought in a strange way. And of course, there's a 10% market variable because you guys want exact math. All right, there's always a variance, right? So on any given day, one of these can be a little more or a little less. But that's what's happening. So I sat at this event with all these REO people in a room this big, staring at people from Freddie and Fannie, waiting to jump up there and whip out their cards. I want to be the next REO superstar kind of reality show moment. First thing they said is, well, we'd all like you to be involved. You want to buy portfolios? Go to our website, fill out the form. And I was sitting next to somebody who actually laughed at that moment. And I said, why are you laughing? And he said, well, that's not how you get REO listings out of Freddie or Fannie. I said, really, how? He goes, well, I just talked to another guy at another table. He jumped on a plane and flew down and wined and dined that guy that's sitting right up there to get all his stuff. And I went, that's the way I remember how to do it. I didn't know nothing about no websites to get listings, but... Yet, these bright-eyed, bushy-tailed investors sat there with such glee and happiness of hearing the mastery of REOs. And the reason I'm really discussing this is because there are a group of real estate professionals out there that are under some psychotic and delusional belief that REOs will someday magically appear on this market. How? I do not know,